Indeed. Alex Blood teaches young people how to produce music and write lyrics, as I said before. Alex, what do you think of that defence from people who are creating drill that says, look, I'm making music to get away from these environments?
I mean, I think that is a very real stance. It's such a complicated issue.
Indeed.
And it's got many threads to it. And obviously, like, you know, we heard the track from T-Face, and there's some, you know, pretty intelligent lyrics in there where he's talking about all the choices he could have made and things like that. And that's true art, you know, that's true expression. I think it comes down to the individual involved. You know, there are artists in all different forms that either care about their society and their people, or they don't care about it. And that doesn't just apply to this genre of music, that can apply to any genre of music. And it's whether the artist has approached that music, you know, from that position, as in, you know, we're going to influence people with this. This song is going to go out there. Young people are going to listen to this song. Lost young people may try and find identity through me being a role model. If you approach music with that fully, you know, embedded in your outlook, then you're not, you know, you're going to put some thoughtful stuff in there. If you don't have that outlook and you don't really care on that level, then you may not put the thoughtful stuff in there. And that's the kind of material that can be worrying for young people, I believe.
Can you definitively make a connection between people rapping about a certain lifestyle and people who would not perhaps want to enter into that lifestyle doing so because of those lyrics?
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, the other thing that's worth mentioning is you know, culture and the depth of social issues varies from location to location. You know, inner city London is very different to inner city Derby or Midlands towns, and so. Yeah, I in my town, I mean, I can only speak from my experience. I work every day with young people, and we've had young people in our town either committing a crime that's resulted in a death, or obviously being the young person that has sadly lost their life. And when it all hits the papers, and I go to the youth clubs and I meet with young people who knew the culprits involved, there'll very often be a case of this young person, you know, had no reason to sort of, they weren't from the social conditions that would sort of lead them down that life. You know, they may have been from middle class families, from educated backgrounds, but were so immersed in a culture and a fashion that they began to imitate and identify with. And that's just something that I've seen happen myself. Like that's not really me sort of putting an argument against anything. That's just something I've witnessed and seen happen. So
it clearly has, in your experience, the power to influence people in very negative ways. Yeah, I mean, I grew up like yourself. I was a massive hip-hop fan for all of my life, and I've been a lyricist and artist for the majority of my life, and I listened to NWA and Eazy-E and Tupac, and I made bad choices as a young person, and I now, at my age, at 36, I know exactly that I made those bad choices because I was really immersed in sort of the narrative of a lifestyle that seemed really exciting and glamorous to me, that wasn't necessarily me. I did that. So I recognise that in other young people, and you know, that could happen with films. It can happen with, I mean, like you said, it can happen with pop music. You can look at the sexualisation in pop music of young females. That happens. So we can't deny the fact that music and entertainment has the power to change someone's actions in real life.
Some of them don't know why they're doing it. Some of them do know why they're doing it, but they're all looking for the same route out. And if there's nothing there for them, what do you expect them to really do? Right.
Well, let's speak to Alex Blood on this. Alex, I mean, you've now heard SK, TK, and T-Face talk about this.
Yeah.
What is your reaction as someone who, like them, works with young people?
Yeah. I mean, the like I said, going back to what I said earlier, there's also wildly different scales of the social problems nationally. So from, you know, central London, central Manchester, to smaller towns like where I'm from, and you know, I have seen young people carrying knives out of necessity, like definitely because they know they're under threat. They know people are looking for them. They don't trust the police. They haven't got the youth services and the youth workers around them to go and confide in or seek help or support from. So they'll carry a knife. But I've also seen young people from posh areas of town, you know, imitating things they've seen in music videos and dressing and styling, and even we have it as crazy up here as people from our town, young people will come into the studio and they'll be talking in a London accent, and I have to say to this guy, you're not from London, why are you talking like that? That's not where you're from. But they take so much of this in that they morph into it. And I've seen young people carrying weapons who don't need to carry a weapon, and then something will kick off somewhere, and because it's there, it gets pulled out, it becomes shocking, and it becomes an issue. More often than not, it's the people like the guys were just saying that are carrying it out of necessity because they need it, that you won't even know they've got it. But the young people that will brag about having it and pull it out, which is coming from their sort of obsession with this culture and lifestyle, which to them and to certain parts of the country is like entertainment. I mean, there's a large number of people listening to this kind of stuff that is entertainment, not the way they live. Do you know what I mean? Okay. That's not to take away from the fact that there is obviously very real large amounts of young people living